Hey guys, welcome back to Chris and Retro. Tonight's video is going to be a little different than some of the other content I normally do. And it really is born out of a current season in our life that I've talked a lot about it. But today it started thinking this way last night. And today I really felt compelled to do this video. Um, it may be perceived as clout chasing and clickbaiting based on this individual's larger channel, and I want to share, if you can feel me through this mic. This is a sincere video of gratitude. I am If there's benefit from it for the channel, so be it. I'm not doing that. There's other things I do that are trying to benefit the growth of the channel, along with give a message of hope and help. But this video is genuinely just to publicly offer gratitude for an individual that has been important in my journey over the last few years. And with that, I will get into it. In the YouTube arena, with content creators, it's often, I think, difficult to find out if they're actually who they say they are. I've met a few of them that are authentic people. Chad Mark with Blood on a Razor Wire TV. He's tremendously authentic. He's local, so I get about a different view of him than probably others would. And I've met a few other creators that, are pretty much what they do on the channel. But we also get inundated with a lot of people that have tremendous misgivings, all kinds of criminal activity. And then there's the genres that are affiliated with the prison genre, motorcycle club genre. And you have everything from just complete frauds on the mic to overstating who they are. And it's just like I've made a joke before. Like if you go to a meeting, a lot of times, like an AA meeting or something like that, you'll find people in the meetings. There's always one that if you say you robbed a bank, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I robbed a bank with a helicopter." Well, it kind of gets like that on YouTube with content creators, where you have people that are always trying to out be the genre they're in. And I've always tried to on this channel, even if it's a maybe not as an attractive a channel for a large media draw yet. I've always tried to be authentic with you, many times sharing very raw emotions, but really just coming from a place of experience and expressing it the best I can with the skill set that I have. The person I'm going to talk about in this video tonight actually is called my show the Show of Common Sense. I did a joint live with him, and he gave me what I consider to be a compliment. Now, common sense is not something that's going to be a YouTube draw, but for me, I take that authentically and I appreciate it. I'm going to speak about Mitch Smiley with Hard Intentions, the YouTube channel. And if you get a chance, please go over to his channel. It's much larger than mine. He's been at it for a while. His content's very interesting, but he draws in a community, and you get a sense that he's real. And I can tell you from my personal story, he is. So 38 years he spent in the California prison system for charges related to a murder. And because of denied parole, and if I recall correctly, it was around 18 or 19 times he was denied parole throughout his life. He went in as a young man, and 18 or 19 years old, I think, is when the incident happened. And he spent his entire adult life behind bars in the California system with all the things that happen in the California system. For somebody to come out after that many years because of policy change and get an opportunity at life, it's difficult. And he made a video the other night that I found was interesting. For one, it kind of ties into what we're talking about here relative to fraudulent content creators. But he also was discussing some of the challenges you have if you've been in the system that long. Now, in my opinion, based on what happened, the age he was at, his history in his life, and all that's happened in his life, and who I know him to be, I think the system failed him tremendously. And what we don't understand is that even when people demonstrate rehabilitation to the point that they're allowed to be free, you have so many mountains to climb after you get beyond the system. It's unbelievable. It's not just that you were there. It's all the things that you've got to do afterwards. And in his case, the other night, he was talking about something I'd never mentioned, never really thought about before, but he has no working history based on how society is working. It's all in prison. He was working while he was there, and he gained a lot of skills that are allowing him to sustain a living now. But he has no Social Security, so no retirement. So here he is in his mid-60s, really trying to grind it out. And I can tell you from my personal account, I know for sure that everything he says on the channel is legitimate. He's working hard, and he works harder in his 60s than most 18-year-olds I know now. Now, why am I doing this? Well, he's not put me up to this. And honestly, thought about texting him before I sent this just to get his permission to. But this truly is coming from my heart, from a place of gratitude. And it's coming also from a personal experience that we went through today. Um, I guess I'll just say this. I'm tremendously thankful for Mitch Smiley, and I am for a lot of very personal reasons. And I'll share some of those that I can share in a minute. But today we were in court for stuff that Sam has been going through, and she submitted her plea today, and we know what our future looks like in that circumstance, and it was far greater than what we would expect it to be, but it was based on her performance up to that point. Now we got other agencies involved that continue to try to play power with us for some reason, even though the criminal stuff that she was facing has been taken care of and is met with very stringent requirements around her life. That doesn't seem to be enough for bullies, and so we're dealing with some bullies right now. But that's a separate story. So anyway, we leave the court, and I couldn't help but think that even though you get through this, and I've known this from my own personal experience. Now I'm a felon for different reasons. I'm a felon just because I'm mental health problems like crazy, and I took way too many chances with a vehicle. Mitch had a life that was really troubled, and it kind of led that road. My situation was when I had a good life, and it shouldn't have led that road, but my mental health derailed me. So in terms of cool, he takes the cool pie on this one. I'm not cool at all. And honestly, I'm not, he doesn't need this push. For me, I'm just doing it from a sincere place to say I'm grateful for him, and I'll explain why. But as I got into left court today, I was just realizing, no matter what you do, somebody's always coming for you if you get yourself in the system at any point in your life. And in our current situation, we have just some baffling nonsense going on. I tell you, there's no home that's better for children than our home. There's no home that's more loving towards these kids than this home. There's no home that's more supportive of a actual recovery journey than this home. With all the puts and takes of it, frustration, sadness, all those other things, we believe that recovery is a possibility, and it requires you to view it that way and also put in the work. You must personally put in your work for your recovery journey, but it certainly helps when you have partnership in it to say, let's go on days when you're not feeling that way. And it is difficult when you become a number to a system, which unfortunately we've found ourselves in that crosshairs. But what I want to do is talk about, so this season had started many months ago, and Mitch is a person that on every holiday will be texting back and forth, just happy holidays. Everyone. I mean, he is unbelievably faithful that way, always responds that way. And it's just hey, I'm kind of a checking on you. If you're connecting with him, he'll share really what's going on in his life. It's not just some veil of, I'm making millions at YouTube. No, it is the grind. It's serious. He's got stuff he's got to do. And with it comes a lot of the worries and concerns that happen in life. But the thing is with him is he's real as it gets. I mean, I don't know that I've met many more authentic people. If he can't stand you, there's no chance you're not going to know that. You will 100% know if he feels a certain way. And he will back that up. But if you're part of a world that he has let in, you will also find a tremendously faithful person in your life. And I can personally attest to that. Now, here's the baffling part about it. We both have a YouTube channel. Our life history is so incredibly different. Our age is generally the same area, but quite a bit of variability. We've grown up on two completely different coasts. We have two different trajectories in terms of what future looks like based on how our down seasons in life played out. And we've never met. Our commonalities are YouTube, motorcycles, and I think authenticity and common sense. And so there's really nothing other than the fact to just say, look, I see you, and I think he sees me too for who I am. And so we had some real troubling situations. And I tell you, he was one of the people I called when I was dealing with some pretty dark stuff through this journey, just to get his advisement from another lens, not this. I don't take advice from people all that credibly if you've lived a pure or optically pure life. I only take advice from people that I trust and that have been through some kind of a grind, that has a perspective that can understand what's going on. And so we had a couple circumstances that I felt like his lived experience would be a good peer for me to reach out to. And there was one night in particular, we probably spent an hour and 15 minutes on the phone. And as he just was very supportive, cautioning where he needed to caution, and making good conversation with me relative to the circumstance that I found myself in with my family. And I felt that in any peer advocate, anybody be a peer advocate for youth, or anybody, the way that he coaches people and the way that he talks through things is tremendously supportive when you're not really sure what to do. And so I'm not suggesting everybody call Mitch. I'm not saying that at all. I just find that in this world right now, especially in his genre, the prison genre, there is frauds everywhere. Everybody wants to tell you how tough they are and how much more of a criminal they are and how hard they were and who wasn't this and who was that in prison and whatever. And you spend more time hearing about their war stories about how they were must have been a shot caller or had the keys to the yard or whatever the slang is they want to use. They were the one that you should fear. And so now that they're out in an environment that isn't that fearful, they like to put that persona on you so that you're cool. And so they're cool and that you're drawn to them. I've seen the same thing in the motorcycle club culture where people play that way. You know, the Black Dragon, I think, is about the only one, even though he had a bunch of controversy, he's the only one that really stood the test of time other than Demon's Row. And Sos is also another one that's an authentic person. I've talked to Sos before. He's another good one. But these are all people that are really what they are on the mic. They're the people on the other side. And so I find that great. But this video tonight, without rambling too much on it, is just to say that when you're looking at these channels like this prison genre channels, and you hear about Wes Watson beating up people with dumbbells in a gym just to validate all these just extraordinary claims he's had. You look at JD DeLay, who's turned his life around and is an advocate for those in recovery and those who are struggling. The Alaskan Avenger, you see him, and he's really trying to put it together and help other people. And even though by some accounts his charges are pretty noble too, if you ask me, but that's neither here nor there. You see people that are actually who they say they are on camera and how they behave behind the scenes. I've seen probably more so in Mitch, based on my own personal account, the real deal. And so on this channel tonight, after having gone through another court experience today and just having another realization of exactly what his life is like and how he consistently works. He consistently, regardless of what life hands him, he works through it and finds a way through it. Recent surgery, work through it. Car problems, work through it. Trying to get a shop started, he's working through it. Finding employers that work out where he's at, works through it. Has a new home and a marriage and everything else that he's always working on. He just works through it, and that's really all we can do. We're not nothing is entitled to us. We've got to find a way and find a path. But I guess I'll close the video with really two things. One is make sure you watch Hard Intentions. Check him out. He is real, so the language is going to be rough. If you're on here and you're that's something that you aren't comfortable with, I'm telling you, it's real. You'll probably hear him call a few people turds here and there, which is humorous to me every time he does it. And but support his channel. But at the same time, this video is for Mitch, and just to say thank you for being real. I'm not sure what your objectives of your channel were, just to tell your story or what, but on my channel, my objective is to hopefully change the life of one in a positive direction, even if thousands don't ever watch it. If one's life has changed, then it was worth my time. And I can tell you, if that was anywhere in your objective, you've had a positive impact and change in my life based on the advice and counseling and support that you've been over the last time that we've been together. So been acquainted with each other. So I would just want to make sure that I did this video tonight as a genuine shout out to Mitch Smiley, and every other channel that talks about him is going to talk about his prison time. I wanted to talk about the person and somebody that I find to be remarkable given his circumstances and how he's just found a way to keep moving forward and gives back to others that are in his circle. So thanks, Mitch. Appreciate you a ton, man. And guys, please continue to like and subscribe to the channel. Comment if you want. Pass the video along as you need to. Between now and the next time we talk, I'm going to do everything I can to stay out of trouble, and I hope you do too.